of just having a great relationship. And I just knew.
What was supposed to be a calm family lunch turned into one of the darkest and most unforgettable off-camera moments in reality TV history. Cameras were rolling, but what they captured would ultimately seal Kody Brown's fate with TLC forever. The garden lunch scene was supposed to feel soft, a warm PR gesture meant to calm the growing public anxiety about the crumbling family dynamic. Robyn sat with her children, Kody at her side, the table set to paint a picture of harmony. But behind, the glassy smile's tension was waiting to erupt. Robyn's oldest son, Dayton, had never been comfortable with cameras. Fans noticed his unease for years, but on this day, something inside him finally snapped. Around noon, a small TLC crew arrived, just a sound tech, a camera operator, and an assistant producer. Instead of the usual strained cooperation, they walked into a wall of suffocating silence, so heavy it felt like the air itself was collapsing. Dayton refused to wear a mic. His footsteps paced across the back porch like a caged animal. When the camera operator subtly tried to adjust the angle, to include him, it was as if a fuse blew. Dayton erupted. His voice wasn't just angry. It was guttural, raw, almost animalistic. "You're not filming me anymore," he growled. "She's being poisoned by you. All of us are." And then, before anyone could react, he lunged. Chaos exploded in seconds. The boom mic crashed into a chair. The cameraman stumbled and slammed face first into a stone planter, blood smearing across the lens. Robyn screamed in terror, but what Kody did next shocked even the crew. He didn't step in to protect Dayton or calm the chaos. He charged outside, his rage aimed not at his son, but at the crew. His voice thundered with fury. "Why the hell didn't you turn the camera off sooner?" That horrifying footage never made it to air. Instead, TLC executives convened an emergency meeting behind locked doors in Burbank. Hours of footage and years of patience had led to this moment, and the verdict was cold and final. Kody Brown was finished. He was no longer considered safe for the network. Not as a father, not as a narrator, not even as a reality TV personality. The announcement came from Julia, the show's longest-serving executive producer. Her voice, sharp and merciless, cut through the silence. "Kody, we're done. We're not building this show around your ego anymore. One of our crew is in the eyes of hospital. You've turned this family into a war zone." Kody sat frozen in his Arizona home office, his jaw clenched so tightly it looked like his teeth might crack. The walls were lined with faded family portraits and cheap leather furniture, mocking reminders of the empire he thought he'd built. "This is impossible," he muttered through gritted teeth. But Julia's response was swift. "It's already done, effective immediately." And then the screen went black. Hours later, Robyn found him slumped in his chair, eyes glassy, staring into nothing. The television played softly in the background, images flickering that he didn't even see. On his desk sat a half-drained bottle of whiskey, untouched for years until this night. His voice broke as he muttered, "They assassinated me. They killed my legacy." But Robyn's face was like stone. She didn't rush to comfort him, didn't take his hand. She stood cold, her voice low but razor sharp. "No, Kody. You ruined your own legacy. You dragged our children into this. And now Dayton is broken because of you." The words cut him deeper than any executive's decision. He staggered to his feet, desperation pouring from his voice. "You're turning against me, Robyn? Don't do this. You're all I have left." But Robyn's eyes didn't soften. Her voice carried the weight of betrayal. "This isn't something I did to you. This is what you did to yourself. Now live with it. Dwell in the wreckage you created." She turned away, her footsteps deliberate, her resolve unshaken. "Dayton's coming with me. We're leaving. Don't call, don't follow. And don't you dare spin this into some redemption story. What's left of this family deserves peace." For the first time, Kody's most loyal wife was walking away. His voice cracked, pleading, begging her not to go. But she was already gone in spirit. And while his empire crumbled in Arizona, hundreds of miles away, Mary Brown was quietly preparing her own revolution. Unlike Kody, Mary wasn't blindsided by his downfall. She had seen it coming long before Dayton's eruption. She had stopped trying to shield the family image years ago, and instead began quietly preparing to expose it. For 3 years, she had guarded a memoir, pages filled with betrayals, hidden contracts, and the emotional starvation she endured. But this wasn't just going to be a tell-all. It was evidence, hard proof, locked in a safe. And TLC, desperate to salvage their collapsing franchise, gave her the stage to tell it all. Her confessional series was raw, uncut, and merciless. Shot in a bare studio just outside Salt Lake City, the set was hauntingly simple. A wooden chair, soft lighting, and a table stacked with old agreements, printed messages, and a manila folder labeled Robyn's Deals. Mary sat with her, back to the camera at first, her tone controlled, her words sharp. "For years I let them tell my story," she said. "Now I'm telling it myself." And then she dropped her first bombshell. As early as season 8, Robyn had been secretly negotiating deals behind the scenes. Mary revealed that Robyn had secured a private agreement with TLC, guaranteeing her extra compensation for emotionally heavy episodes, especially those centered on her children or her crafted victim narrative. The other wives were kept in the dark, believing Robyn's prominence was driven by audience demand, but it was money, deals, and manipulation all along. "I still remember the day they cut my entire segment," Mary said, her voice trembling not from fear, but from fury. The internet detonated with her words, and for the first time, the foundation of Robyn's carefully protected image was beginning to crack.
As like a very present dad, with his children, so.
Mary Brown's confessional didn't just sting, it detonated like a bomb. She sat there, voice trembling, her eyes glassy as she admitted, "I've been through breakups where I told myself I never loved them. And maybe that's where I was. With Kody too." Her words cracked with pain, echoing the years of emotional neglect. She spoke about a grief recovery retreat where she had finally allowed herself to be real on camera. But when the episode aired, her rawest, most vulnerable moment had been erased. Her name wasn't even in the credits. That betrayal lit a fire inside her, and she came armed with evidence. One by one, Mary laid out the receipts. Real estate transfers signed by Kody, secretly funneling assets into Robyn's name. Unpaid production invoices she uncovered, even though every wife was contractually bound to appear. And then came the line that shattered the internet. "Robyn Brown is not a helpless woman. She's a strategist. Kody Brown was her soldier." Those words spread like wildfire. Clips from Mary's interview ricocheted across TikTok and Reddit. Reaction videos flooded YouTube. Fans who had long abandoned the show returned in droves, hungry for the unfiltered truth. By episode 2, Mary had escalated her revelations. Emails between Kody and TLC producers showed him begging for storyline rewrites. Audio recordings captured Robyn pleading to reshape the narrative. And the most damning of all, voicemails of Kody screaming at Christine, blaming her independence for ruining the entire franchise. By episode 3, TLC did what once seemed unthinkable. They leaned fully into the new reality. The wives who had been silenced, Mary, Janelle, and Christine, were now at the helm. The show was renamed Sister Wives, Reclaimed. In Times Square, a massive billboard went up. Mary stood alone, her hair blowing in the wind, arms crossed, fire in her eyes. Beside her, in bold letters, "The real wife, Mary Brown, she's done waiting." Fans were stunned. Kody Brown's face was nowhere to be seen. And Kody? He vanished. The once bustling Flagstaff home, once swarming with production trucks and TLC crews, fell silent. It became a graveyard of ambition. Locals whispered about spotting him at rural gas stations, unkempt, muttering to himself. He tried to start a podcast. It collapsed after 3 episodes. He opened a YouTube channel. Within 24 hours, the comments were shut down as ridicule poured in. Robyn refused to answer calls from the press. Dayton slipped quietly into therapy. But rumors swirled. Court filings, sealed documents, and whispers of lawsuits connected to production responsibilities. Then came another blow. A former producer stepped forward with a chilling claim. She possessed unreleased footage from the Las Vegas years. Tapes stored in a private facility allegedly captured Kody making degrading remarks about his wives, boasting about control, and demanding to be treated as the sole star. TLC had allegedly paid 6 figures to bury the footage, but word had already leaked. Promises once sworn in secrecy were unraveling. The facade was crumbling from all sides. Meanwhile, Janelle Brown was rising like never before. After 3 decades of living under Kody's shadow, she was free. A mother of 6, once unfairly cast as distant and faithless, she was reclaiming her dignity. Kody had long scapegoated her, blaming her for his failures. Their breaking point came during the pandemic of 2021 when his suffocating rules drove a wedge between him and Janelle's children. She had endured enough. Taking inspiration from Christine, she quietly made her exit. By 2022, her spiritual marriage to Kody was dissolved, but freedom came with its own challenges. Financial struggles weighed heavy, yet she persevered. And in 2024, she made the boldest move of her life. She purchased property in North Carolina near her daughter. Leaving Flagstaff behind forever, she announced she would never again live her life by anyone else's terms. Fans celebrated as she launched new businesses, carving out her independence brick by brick. The dream Kody once dangled in front of the wives, the Coyote Pass project, lay in ruins. What was supposed to symbolize unity became a gravestone for his failed leadership. The land, originally purchased in 2018, sat in limbo for years as Kody refused to divide it fairly. But by 2025, he had no choice. Janelle walked away with $35,000, double her initial investment. But more than money, it symbolized liberation. In April 2025, she announced joyfully, "My home is slowly coming to fruition." She was literally building it with her own hands. Her confidence had soared. She declared 2025 the year she cut all toxicity from her life. And for once, she had fulfilled that vow. With peace, purpose, and a clear horizon, Janelle was thriving. Not just surviving, not just existing, thriving. She wasn't just rebuilding her personal life. She was laying foundations for generational strength. Businesses like Tata Farms and her t-shirt shop became her new empire. Fans cheered as Janelle stood taller than ever before, no longer defined by Kody's chaos, but by her own resilience. But while Janelle ascended, Robyn spiraled downward. Season 19 exposed the version of Robyn that fans had long suspected. She wasn't the fragile victim she played on screen. She was a strategist, a manipulator, a master at playing the victim card. For years, she claimed all she ever wanted was Kody to herself. Now she had him. And yet, she was still miserable. Since joining the family in 2010, Robyn had disrupted a fragile balance that took decades to form between Christine, Janelle, and Mary. Those women shared more than just a husband. They shared decades of history, pain, and resilience. Robyn's marriage was barely a decade old, but it rocked the foundation of everything. At first she smiled, played sweet, tried to blend in. But cracks appeared quickly. She began isolating herself, growing more powerful as Kody leaned into her alone. One by one, the other wives departed. And when the dust settled, Robyn stood as the last wife standing, but also the reason everything had fallen apart. Fans saw it clearly now. Robyn wasn't just a victim. She was the architect of destruction. She played the outsider when it suited her, the martyr when convenient, the strategist when hidden deals were struck. Her silence when she should have spoken, her tears when accountability was needed. Every move was a piece in her long game. But with Kody finally alone, stripped of power, stripped of legacy, the cracks in Robyn's world were showing. The empire she thought she built was collapsing, and she could no longer hide behind her tears. Season 19 ने एक चीज crystal clear कर दी. Even after winning Kody, Robyn Brown is far from happy. Behind closed doors, she confessed that her relationships with the other wives were never what she had hoped for, what she had imagined, as sisterhood turned into suspicion, distance, and cold transactions. Her biggest mistake? Expecting Christine, Janelle, and Mary to validate her place in the family. They never did. They never would. And now, Robyn and Kody sit in a house full of ghosts, staring at the ruins of a dream that never truly belonged to her. Robyn always hated when the other wives voiced opinions about her marriage, yet she constantly criticized theirs. When the pandemic hit, her role shifted from reluctant bystander to active instigator. Where she once dismissed Kody's past marriages, she now openly disparaged them. She claimed she only wanted to hold the family together, but audiences saw something darker. Her comments cut deeper. Her tears grew more manipulative. Slowly, it became clear. Robyn didn't want a plural marriage. She wanted Kody, and only Kody. And as his marriages to Christine, Janelle, and Mary collapsed, Robyn tightened her grip. The hypocrisy became glaring. Robyn herself had gone through divorce with her first husband, yet when Christine, Janelle, and Mary chose to walk away, she condemned them mercilessly. She painted herself as the eternal victim of their choices, while refusing to own the role she played in the family's destruction. Over and over, she placed her suffering above everyone else's, even when her reality was far more stable. She remained Kody's only legal wife, the chosen one, protected and prioritized. And still, she cried the loudest. Fans noticed. So did the children. Kody's favoritism was impossible to ignore. He preached about loving all his kids equally, but his actions spoke otherwise. Robyn's children were never left behind. They were shielded, centered, adored. Meanwhile, his relationships with older children fractured beyond repair. Robyn fed into this rift, insisting her kids were being treated like outsiders by the rest of the family, even though they were embraced from day one. Kody legally adopted her children. He gave them his name, his time, his devotion, something his biological kids with other wives didn't always receive. And then came the breaking point. Fans will never forget when Christine's daughter, Isabel, needed major back surgery for scoliosis. Kody refused to be there, claiming pandemic risks. Robyn, too, excused herself under the same pretense. But years earlier, when her own son Dayton faced a serious operation, Robyn never hesitated. She was by his side every moment. To many, that double standard revealed the truth. Her compassion only extended as far as her own children. For Christine's daughter, there were excuses. For Robyn's, there was unconditional support. The wound of that choice cut deep, and fans never forgave it. Yet Robyn still cast herself as the family's moral compass. She preached values of purity, faith, and obedience to her children and to the cameras. But viewers noticed the hypocrisy. Robyn had divorced and remarried, yet demanded standards of purity and abstinence from her kids, with no room for conversation, only rules and guilt. Fans labeled her the moral enforcer, but also the family's biggest hypocrite. That selective morality, paired with her constant victimhood, only cemented her image as the villain of sister wives. By the end of season 19's second half, Kody was praising Robyn endlessly, calling her his refuge, his soulmate, his one true love. But for fans, his words rang hollow. They saw through the romance. They remembered the broken vows, the neglected children, the wives who left shattered. Back in 2014, when Kody spiritually married Robyn, it was supposed to symbolize harmony and unity. Instead, it marked the beginning of jealousy, resentment, and collapse. The move to Flagstaff only deepened the divide. Gone were the days when the wives lived close together. Now they were isolated in separate homes, and Kody's time was consumed by Robyn alone. When COVID hit, the couple retreated even further into their bubble. Christine left first in 2021, followed by Janelle and then Mary. Robyn remained the last wife standing, but her victory came at the cost of the plural, family's destruction. When season 19 resumed after its mid-season break, TLC tried to paint a picture of hope. Kody and Robyn seemed to rediscover their happiness, celebrating Aurora's baptism and looking back at their journey with glowing smiles. Kody gushed, "I'm a fool for my woman," even comparing his devotion to her with Aurora's devotion to God. In old footage, Robyn tearfully called Kody her soulmate. The message was clear. Their bond was unbreakable. But fans weren't fooled. The sweet moments couldn't erase the wreckage left behind. Every kiss, every proclamation of love only highlighted what was lost. The trust, the balance, the vision of a family united. Kody and Robyn may still have each other, but the cost was monumental. The dream of plural marriage was gone, replaced by the cold reality of monogamy. And while they celebrated their so-called soulmate connection, the shadow of broken promises and forsaken children loomed larger than ever.